Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be watching the SARENA SHARPE police interview, and this is regarding the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case. I've only watched this one time, very quickly, and if I remember correctly, I found it rather refreshing that they didn't have to drag the answers out of her. I also figured out how to make the audio louder, so this video hopefully won't have the same issues that the last one had. Sorry about that. So let's begin. Let's mention that all the parties involved and the people discussed are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So we always keep that in mind when we're discussing these cases. I've edited this video for content.
Detective Ray from Seal.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Go ahead and have a seat.
Thank you.
Grab my card info.
Great, thank you. I try not to think about it. So are you both from Idaho then? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So he's with Rexburg PD, and
Okay.
I'm with Fremont County
Okay.
Sheriff's Office.
Which is just north of Rexburg?
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Serena, are you okay if I record our conversation?
Yes, are you okay if I record as well?
You bet.
Okay.
Yep.
Look at Serena all savvy and recording the conversation with the detectives. Okay.
So today's date is Wednesday the 28th of April.
Are you okay if I drink water?
Oh, you bet, yeah. Myself, Detective Maciel, and Serena Sharpe today. Again, Serena, thanks for coming in. I know you probably have a lot going on. But we're just over here doing some follow-up on Chad and Lori Daybell case that we're working.
Great.
And from our understanding, you've had one interview, right? Back in, was it April or June of 2020? So who did you talk to back then? Do you remember? Was it here?
No, they came to my house.
Okay.
Do you need me to find that name? Because I
No,
can.
you're good. I was just
Okay.
curious if you remember.
I don't.
We're not going to go into all of what you've already gone over.
Okay.
We just kind of have a couple follow-up questions and things like that. But let's start off. How long have you known Chad and Lori? Or Lori? Because was Lori and Chad together when you first met them?
Yes.
Okay.
But together as in they were in the same place. So I came here in November of 2019 for a Preparing a People conference. I had never met anybody here except for Jason Mao at the time. And so Jason had come up to New England to do a big fireside speaker for us for a bunch of youth. We had a multi-state thing for the youth, and he came and was our keynote speaker. And he said, "You remind me of my friend Melanie." So he introduced me to Melanie over the phone, Gibb, and I started speaking with her, and I was already aware of this conference and considering attending because I was up in Connecticut. And she's like, "Well, come stay with me." And I'm like, "Okay." I had never met her before, but I knew Jason was speaking, and I was interested in the subject. So I came, and I thought I was staying with Melanie, and she took me to Lori's house. We actually stayed at Lori's house, and that's when I met Lori and Chad.
All these ladies are very similar. It's kind of eerie.
What day was that, or what month was that again? That you were?
Pretty sure I can double check the dates, but November 2019.
Okay. When you were there, did you see anything going on between Lori and Chad that was out of the ordinary or affectionate or anything like that?
No, I actually took a walk with both of them on Sunday morning and didn't notice anything unusual, but I wasn't expecting anything unusual too. I mean, everybody there was brand new to me, so
Okay.
I didn't see anything unusual.
What was the conference at the house, or what did they talk about at?
No, so there was a fireside at the house, like a morning meeting type thing for people to come to. I think that was on a Friday morning. But the conference itself was at the facility. I'm so sorry. I came from Connecticut. I didn't know where I was. I just got a ride to different places, and I had never been here before.
No, you're fine.
As an adult. So I was pretty overwhelmed with meeting everybody, and I didn't Like, I just trusted. We were at the conference.
Yeah.
Wherever the conference was held, that's where it was for the conference.
Did all the people who got involved start with preparing a people? Comment below.
How long were Lori and Chad kind of teaching the teachings that they were going on and for the conference? Or was there anything different that they were teaching that wasn't in the LDS faith?
Yes, definitely. So Lori and Chad didn't say anything to me until Sunday morning. Lori kind of pulled me aside and started saying a few things that were not, like, according to the LDS faith, that were outside kind of that purview.
Did she ever talk about zombies or
Not at that
demons
time.
or anything like that?
That came later.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But she, like, that morning is when she talked about, like, multiple probations and, like, coming to the earth multiple times. And
How did you feel about that?
how did I personally feel about that? Kind of mixed. So part of me wanted to believe it. Part of me has had, like, deja vu experiences, and I've had deja vu. And so for me, it kind of explained those kind of moments in my life. And I thought, well, maybe it's true. I kind of believe it. I did. I believed it.
That's refreshingly honest from this group of people.
A little bit of hesitancy, but I did believe her.
Go ahead.
Can I?
Yeah.
So was it Lori that was, from your understanding, was it Lori that was talking more about those things at this, or did you see or hear Chad saying the exact same things?
I didn't hear Chad say anything that weekend about that. Mm-mm.
So it was mostly Lori
It was
that.
only Lori to me. It wasn't spoken, like, to the general population. It was, she pulled me aside. And
So was Chad using Lori like a ventriloquist dummy or something?
So that went on the first time.
mm-hmm.
And then you said later on, zombies came into play.
Yep.
When was that?
Because I was
So
here.
winter of 2020 would be this last
Yeah,
summer.
so it wasn't, it was winter, so 2018, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, let me review.
Yeah, no, you're
The
fine.
date line, so that means the Preparing a People conference was 2018, November.
Okay.
And then I was back here in March 2019, that's how it went.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, you're
I
fine.
messed up.
What did she say about zombies and how that worked?
Right, so I don't know if you believe in the Bible, but basically from my understanding is like Jesus Christ, his number one miracle that he performed was casting out evil spirits. And the Bible also talks in Revelations about how when Satan went against God, he was cast out to the earth, and it says to the earth. And so it was, from my understanding, she took that, like, people can be possessed, like, people, there's evil here for sure. And she said that people had died or their bodies were possessed by evil spirits. And that's what my definition is, or my understanding is, of the zombies.
Of how she was explaining it to
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did she ever tell you how to get rid of those zombies, or did she practice that same
Yes.
way how you just explained it to me?
Yeah, no, she did. She had all this together. So that was March when I came back here for like a girls' weekend.
Was that March of 2018?
It was, so Preparing a People was November, and it was the following March.
Okay.
So if it was 2018, 2019. So.
Okay.
Yep.
So how did she explain that to you?
Well, she explained that Satan was ramping up his powers, and their evil was just so pervasive in this world, and that it was her job, she was responsible for casting out these zombies, and that she needed help, and she needed all of our help. We each had something to bring to the table, and we needed to cast these people out. So it was like a spiritual casting out, just like Jesus Christ did. There was nothing physical to it, and it was all in good intent. Like, we were trying to help this world and trying to get rid of evil. That's what I thought we were doing.
The Bible story has allegedly a person possessed. Jesus sees them, casts the spirits into pigs. The pigs go off the mountain and die.
You just said everyone kind of had something, so what did you have, or what did she think you had?
Oh, from my perspective, like, I'm a pretty spiritual person. I am in the scriptures a lot, and I have pretty intense faith with Jesus Christ. And I follow through with things. I get things done. Like, if I feel like he is asking me to do something, like, I want to do it. All in good faith, all like for the right, for truth. And I think, like, for me, she saw somebody who is outside of this Gilbert bubble or outside of the Arizona bubble, somebody who's she could bring in. I'm a pretty strong personality, but I also have, like, I have not only the gift of faith, but I've had spiritual experiences, and I think she took that and manipulated it.
She was gullible.
So did you discuss those experiences with her prior to her asking you to be part of this?
Pulling me. So it wasn't like an official, she asked me to be a part of it. She just kind of, hey, I've got some things. She had asked me about, like, had I had my baptism, you know, of course I had, like, a physical baptism in my church. She also asked if I had a spiritual baptism, a baptism by fire in the Holy Ghost. That's explained in the New Testament as well. I said, I'm not sure, but I have had some spiritual experiences. And she did ask me to elaborate a little bit on kind of my life journey and what has happened in my life. So I shared with her a little bit. I shared with her some of the things that happened, but some of it I hold very sacred, and I don't discuss those things. But yeah, I did share. So I think she knew some of it for sure.
This is the problem with people pretending to be an intercessor.
On the castings, can you walk us through on how those happen?
Yes.
Or did she always direct them?
Yes.
Okay, can you walk us through on how those worked and happened?
Sure. So I was only there once in person because I was only there. So I've seen Lori 4 times ever.
Okay.
It was that Preparing a People conference in November, and then in March when I came out for the girls' weekend. And then after I moved here, I saw her 2 other times. I saw her at a lunch. She was not even sitting by me, but she was a few tables down. And then I saw her once at her house after that. She invited me over with a bunch of other women, and we just sat there and talked and ate, and I had questions for her about what had happened with her husband, because that's pretty mind-blowing.
At this point, we don't know what Lori told her about Charles dying.
So I've only seen her those 4 times. The weekend of March, when we were there for that girls' weekend, that was the first time we did. She explained the casting out things. And she asked us each to, like, it's kind of like we got in a circle, and she asked each of us to be part of that prayer or say something to help cast out. And so we each took a turn saying something, like, and sometimes calling on elements, because we each have, like, different gifts. Just like you're really good at basketball and you might be really good at hockey, right? The same thing applies spiritually too. We can have different spiritual gifts.
Superpowers activate.
And so she asked, like, for me to be in charge of water and to use those elements and ask for water. And for me, that meant, like, using water, calling down water. God used water to help form this world, and calling down that water and using water to help, like, cleanse, because it's a very cleansing agent. There's a lot of power in water too. So basically, I thought we were just casting out, getting rid of those zombies or evil spirits, the people who are possessed, so that we could cleanse them out. And my specialty, or her ask of me, was to use that water element.
Well, at least you have to say that she immediately talks about the people involved, getting in a circle, the elements. They're not having to drag stuff out of her.
So when you guys were in a circle, were you holding hands? Were you just shoulder to shoulder?
I don't think we were holding hands. From my memory, I think we were just, I can't even remember if we were standing or sitting. Just kind of in a casuals. I'm so sorry, I don't
You're
remember.
okay. And was Lori in that circle, or was she
Yes.
somewhere else?
No, she was there.
Do you remember who was there?
Yes, I do. So Lori, and I don't remember the order, but Lori was there, Zulema was there, Melanie Gibb was there, Christina was there, Nicole was there, and myself.
All the interviews seem to jibe that this was the group of ladies.
Is that right? That sounds right to me.
And then just kind of walk us through what you would say. Like if it got to your turn, what you would say to cast out these evil spirits.
Well, it's very similar to what we're taught in the Bible. So in the name of Jesus Christ, I ask for, and you can ask for things when you pray. I ask for the element of water to come, water in the heavens above and the earth beneath. That's in the Exodus, to come and cleanse. And I can't remember, you asked who we specifically targeted. I know she was very concerned about her husband, Charles, is that his name?
Yep.
Charles, and that he was possessed. And I can't remember if it was that time or if it was later, but I think it might have been that time that we specifically talked about him. But her teaching to us was that even though he was possessed, it wasn't just a he problem. It was broader, way broader than that. It was like, we need to cleanse the earth, right? And cast out for the whole earth. So she specifically was worried about her husband. And I'm pretty sure at one point she was worried about her daughter, Tylee, too. And I can't remember if it was that moment or not. And I can't remember if she said it was dark or she was possessed, like her daughter. I think she said she was just dark, but her husband was possessed.
This is evidence of premeditation.
So on the first one you guys did was for Charles, that you can remember.
Charles, but I think it was broader than that. From my memory, it wasn't just him. It might have been just him.
Okay.
I think he was definitely part of it.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to remember if it was more than just him, too, because that was her intent, is that we cleanse, like,
Everything. Plus.
everything, right? And it was like, for her, it was like a state by state thing. So it was her husband to practice on, but that we were just practicing because he was already possessed. And then it needed to be like broader than that. It needed to be like state by state and then cleanse the whole world type thing.
Okay.
Yeah. We thought we were doing good. Like, we really didn't think.
Then why hide it?
Certainly didn't, like, this was just a spiritual thing. This was nothing more than that. And we thought we were trying to, like, help people and help, like, cleanse the evil out of him. And
when you guys were doing it, and Lori started it off, did she start it off with a blessing? Or did she end it with a blessing? Or how did that start and end?
What do you mean blessing? Like, blessing each of us, or blessing?
The casting or whatever. Or did she just start off, okay, everyone let's get in our circle, you have this and this. And then did she start it off with what she thought and then it just went around?
I think
Or did she
so.
start off with the blessing and then she started and go around?
I'm not sure what you mean
I
by
guess
blessing.
like a priesthood blessing.
No, because that's usually a priesthood blessing is to bless somebody. Is that
Okay.
what you mean?
Yeah, something like that.
Like, did she bless us to start that thing?
Yeah.
No, I don't
Okay.
think so. I think she just started.
Okay.
This sounds like kids playing a game.
How
Remember,
many-
I was only there once, though, so I only did it
Yeah, I was
once,
just
and I'm
gonna
trying
ask
to
you that.
remember.
So you were
Yeah.
you were there one time
hmm
physically.
Yeah.
Did you ever do any castings over the phone
Yeah.
with them? Okay. Was that multiple castings or just a few?
I think it was just one other.
Okay. Who?
And then I was
who
kicked
that
out.
on?
You know that, right?
Yeah, and we'll get to that.
Thank heaven.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest blessing.
No kidding. Amen. Seriously.
Who is your the casting over the phone?
That was general.
Or
That
okay,
was
no
like-
specific.
That was like a state thing.
Okay. Do you know who was on the phone when you did that?
Everybody that I mentioned already, plus I think Melanie Boudreaux was there.
Okay.
So far, the cast of characters seemingly is the same.
Who I had never met until I moved here, and I only met her once briefly, so.
Okay. And so you just did the 2 castings?
2, there might have been a third, I'm trying to remember, but yeah. 2 for sure that I remember. I'm trying to remember if there was a third over the phone.
Okay.
There was one time I talked to them on the phone, but I had been up for 24 hours in Connecticut dealing with some house problems. And I remember just laying there and falling asleep, so I can't remember like what happened exactly on that phone call. Because I was 3 hours ahead of them too.
Yeah. No, that's all
And I
right.
hadn't slept. So I'm trying to remember. I don't think I said anything. I think I just listened, and I'm not sure what exactly was said that time.
So let's go back to,
I didn't participate in that one, if it was. So I think I just sat there and listened and fell asleep.
you said Lori mentioned her daughter Tylee was either dark or a zombie. Is that the only time you ever heard Lori mention that about Tylee? Or was
No,
there other
multiple
times?
times.
What did she bring up with that? Or what do you recall her saying about Tylee
Yeah.
in any of that content?
Most of my conversations with Lori, some of them were over the phone, and then but we didn't talk often either, only a few times. It was just that, and then that weekend, her daughter's dark, and part of that's because of the abuse she suffered, but that it was hard because she was a constant, and she didn't use this word, I'm trying to interpret with my own words, but like a plague or disruptor maybe to like Lori's mission. So she talked about that, like how like Tylee was trying to distract her, and it was just hard living with somebody who was so dark. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
This will go towards premeditation and motive.
When was the first time she brought that up about Tylee? Was it before March 2019?
I know, I'm trying to remember. I don't think she mentioned anything like that because we had that first weekend for preparing a people when I was here. That didn't come up at all. Like that wasn't part of it. So I'm trying to remember, like, was it sometime between then or March when I was here? It must have been I'm guessing it was sometime between then. Over the phone.
Okay.
Before
You came in March.
Before I came in March.
Okay.
I'm not positive on that.
And you're up.
It could be March.
Yeah, that's fine. Did she ever mention anything about JJ being dark?
Nothing.
Or evil?
Nope.
Okay, no zombies.
Not to me.
Okay.
No.
SARENA will end up a witness if this goes to trial, just my opinion.
Explain to us why you got kicked out.
I got kicked out because I asked too many questions.
What kind of questions were you asking?
A lot. I'm a seeker. I love to like research and like dive deep into different things, and so I was asking questions about things that just didn't make sense. So that whole zombie thing, like I know casting out is a thing, like that's in the Bible. The whole zombie and the circle thing, I wasn't exactly comfortable with it, but I kind of put it on the shelf because I could see how she maybe connected different parts of the Bible as far as casting out and other parts. So I kind of put it on the shelf, but I did ask some questions. I know I asked a lot of questions when she started getting into who's light, who's dark, what their probation is, like when she was assigning different levels to people. And I know she was getting a lot of that information from Chad as well. And so I started asking both of them questions when things didn't make sense to me and it didn't feel right. Like that's when I ask questions because I want to know. They didn't like that. They didn't like the fact that I was asking, like, well, what about so-and-so? Like, because they were telling me numbers from my own family. Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I don't understand this. They didn't like that. And I know another subject was when she was talking about, like, there's no need for repentance. That's just plain wrong. Like, and I'm not, like, and so I pushed back on that one. That was another one.
Why did she say that? Or what
She
did
said she found it in the Bible.
So was she...
And she said, we don't need to repent anymore. We've come to that stage where...
When she says we, was she talking about like her and Chad or all you guys?
She was trying to get us all to believe that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But at that time she believed that she did not need to
Correct.
repent. did she just think she was...
If you don't need to repent, then you can do things like kill people without having a worrisome conscience.
Translated?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But above the law too. She thought I was translated as well. Or in process, I should say. She didn't think I was translated, but in process.
Das ist Wahnsinn. That's translation for crazy.
So in your report, we were just looking over it. She didn't want to repent, and that's kind of when they pushed you away, and she said...
Well, that's part of it. She also thought, so I had some dreams. I dream, and sometimes those dreams are very vivid, and they're predictive too. And it's occasionally, it's not all the time, but I have dreams. And I had shared one of those dreams with Chad, and it actually was happening at that time in a different format, and then has come true in multiple ways since then. And so they said at that time too that I got really sick. And I'm not usually sick ever, like very, very rarely. And she said, she and Chad said that I had been like, I'm trying to remember the word, not infected, but that I had been breached, that there was a hole in me, that Julie Rowe was attacking me, and I was being indoctrinated at night, and I was no longer trustworthy, and that I was not worthy, or whatever word they used. They didn't say this directly to me. I just knew, like you could tell when somebody flips and changes, but she did tell me that I had been over the phone, that I had been breached and indoctrinated at night, and they were doing ritualistic abuse at me while I was sleeping.
Do you think they ever did any castings on you?
Yeah, they must have.
Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
So that was soon after March. That was either April or May that all happened.
Did Zulema ever talk to you and try and help you out, or help you through the time, or try and see something different?
I don't think so.
I guess Lori made the comment that Zulema will help you through this tough time.
She did. Yep. So Zulema and I were pretty close, and she kind of was assigned to kind of take care of me, take care of the problem, but I believe she believed Lori and Chad 100% at that time, and was handling me, but wasn't trying to ask or find anything other than what they were saying.
Okay.
So, because our relationship didn't last much longer than that.
How often did you talk to Chad?
Like over the phone?
Or in person?
I saw him twice, ever. So, and you could say that's 3 times, but, so 2 trips, the Preparing the People conference here, and then I went to the Preparing the People conference up in Idaho as well.
Was that in Boise?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And part of that trip, for me, that's why I count it as 1 trip, but you can count it as 2 times, because I saw him at that conference, and then I went over to Rexford. We were investigating places to move. I knew I needed to move, that we were supposed to move, and I was trying to figure out where in Rexford was a place that my husband loved, and he found a house, so we were checking out Rexford. And so I did meet Chad once there as well. So 3 times in person.
Ever talked to him on the phone or text?
Yes, texted. We emailed a few times, texted. We might have texted. I'm sure we probably did a couple times, but not often. I'm trying to remember if I talked to him on the phone. If I did, it was very few times.
Anything important on those texts what was it about? Just
the text? I'm not sure I ever texted him.
Okay.
So I guess I can't check.
So far, I believe she's being candid.
I'm not sure I ever texted him, but I could have. I remember the emails, and I remember the in-person stuff. I might have talked to him on the phone once or twice, and there might be some texts, but I don't remember any of them.
I wonder if they've seen some texts, because look at the looks they give each other. I don't know if I'm reading into it.
And since Lori pushed you out in March, have you had any contact with her or Chad?
Twice after. So after I moved, yeah, because I had seen her twice before. I remember November and March, and then she kicked me out. But I ended up moving here, much to my chagrin. I did not want to move here because she was here, but this was the right place. We were supposed to be here. Like, no doubt at all. 100% we're supposed to be here. But it was really hard to move here because she and everybody, like Zulema, who I had been really close to, like, weren't talking to me. And I wasn't part of that group anymore. But once I moved here, Zulema, I think it was Zulema, set up like a welcome lunch or whatever at, not Cafe Rio, what's the other one? Costa Vida.
Costa Vida.
So we were there and had lunch. It was really bizarre.
Who was all there at that?
Lori and her brother, Zulema, Melanie, Boudreaux, and Nicole. And basically it was Nicole and I sat and talked, and everybody else was kind of to our side. But
Was that the first time you ever met Alex?
Bizarre. No, I met him at Preparing a People the first time in Gilbert.
Okay.
So he came, he didn't stay at the house, but he came at least once. I remember him being there once.
Did you ever
He
talk
met
to
him.
him?
Not really, besides like a conversation. He was in the kitchen. I remember him in the kitchen at Lori's house when I was here for that Preparing a People conference. And there's a lot of other people there too, and I definitely talked to him there.
Just general talk?
Like
or was
general,
there-
yeah, everybody. Not
Okay.
nothing alone, yeah.
It's really fortunate that she started asking questions of them and that perhaps Lori felt jealous and booted her. So far, I feel that she's being candid. I also feel that she probably is embarrassed that she was gullible to this group.
So, really quick, so back to the casting. Just to confirm, did you ever cast out for Tylee?
I don't think I ever did.
Did Lori ever say that she did?
I think I was kicked out before she turned zombie, but I'm kind of unclear on the whole Tylee, like if I was there. So I don't know definitively if I participated in that or not. Charles, I remember clearly. Tylee, I don't remember. Like,
Now, I don't like that.
No, you're okay.
Okay.
And then with Charles,
Uh-huh.
what was your understanding when somebody is possessed? What needed to happen in order for them to either progress or to be cured? What was your understanding?
Well, the way Lori explained it is that, and I'm gonna get these numbers wrong. I'm not a super detailed memory person, if you can't tell. But she explained it something like the effect of when we're born, our spirits are tied to our bodies approximately, I want to say 3,000 strings or attachments or something like that. And that's where, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it's around 3,000. And as we go through life, or we near death, as we get older, those strings and bonds break in different ways, I don't know, an injury or whatever, however they break, I don't know, or attachments, whatever she called them. And so what happens, from my understanding of what she said, is that when somebody, like Charles, I think, was in a car accident or something, you can invite evil in, something like that happens, and these evil spirits can kind of take over and create take over those attachments and take over those, and maybe even build their own. I'm kind of unclear on that, but basically, so us, when we're casting out, we cast out that evil spirit, but what we're doing, in essence, is severing those life bonds to the body so that the body can be released, the spirit can be released, and then the spirit goes on and does whatever they do next.
Like an exorcism.
Yeah, so when you said the
it's
body can be
much
released,
senseless craziness is, yeah.
yeah, and it is a little crazy, this whole last couple of years, but that's a different story. So when the body can...
Yeah, for me too. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's horrifying what has happened.
and it's a good thing you got kicked out.
I know. Huge gift.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Can we get an amen? Amen.
So when the body can be released, what did you take that to mean?
Does the body die? Is that what you're asking? With you casting out? I'm not sure. So for me, like casting out the spirit, like that releases the spirit to move on to whatever it needed to do, that evil spirit, or get out, right? So is the spirit that originally, like high spirit, is it still there? Or is it, I don't know. Like she talked about like, then he would die. She did talk about that. Eventually, like Charles eventually would die, or then then his spirit and body would be released.
So the body would physically die.
To move on, whether, I don't know if that meant like through life, or like his spirit would move on and die, and his body then would die too. I think she had that thought that it would die.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And so during the castings, you never prayed for, or nobody ever brought up the fact that you're praying for Charles to die?
No, because we weren't. Like, from my perspective, we were praying for that evil spirit to go, to get out, and to depart.
So these wannabe exorcists, do they ever even want to look at Charles and Tylee and see if they really seem possessed?
That was my perspective.
Did she ever talk about the 144,000?
Yep, she did.
What did she say about that?
She said that she thought I was part of the 144,000, and that she and Chad were leaders of the 144,000, and they were trying to find all of them to come. I think the word she used was tip the spear, so that we could go hunt and find those that were righteous and help like restore the earth and cleanse the earth and prepare for the second coming.
Okay. And did she ever refer to you by a different name?
She gave me an internal name. Yes, she told me my eternal name is what she called it, which she got from Chad. Mm-hmm.
And what was that?
Raina.
Raina?
Mm-hmm. Not sure how to spell it, but my guess is R-E-I-N-A, Raina.
Okay.
Or R-E-Y-N-A.
And she got that from Chad?
Mm-hmm.
Did she tell you that?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, but I do remember like one of the names she couldn't pronounce, and she made a phone call while she was telling all of us. And I'm pretty sure that phone call, I can't remember if she said Chad or we knew she was talking to Chad. I knew she was talking to Chad.
Okay.
All of these witnesses seem to be talking about Chad being kind of like the man behind the curtain, giving the orders or the proclamations to Lord.
And so when you said you talked to Chad a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
what was his demeanor like with you? Like, how was he acting? What did you guys discuss?
Spiritual things, for sure. When I met him in March, not March, I didn't meet him in March, in November. It was definitely like a preparing spiritually and physically for the second coming, helping to prepare our families so that we would have food storage and be spiritually prepared for whatever happened. And that's like not just our family, but our neighbors and our friends.
Sure.
And so a lot of it was that, and then the spiritual things too. I was asking him, because he's a dreamer. I mean, he was a visionary. I'd never met anybody like him before. I've never really heard of anything like that before. It's my own little bubble up there.
So making stuff up makes you visionary.
Or I was asking him, I remember, so what do you see for New England? What do you see for, like, and so I was asking, like, specific questions like that, like, because that's what I heard he knew and had seen, and what do you think about this? What do you think about, so that was a lot of our conversation for the first time.
Not Nostradamus, but Nostradumars.
So the other time that I really remember talking to him was, and again, like I can't remember if I ever talked to him over the phone. We might have, but if I can't, I'm not sure about that. But I do remember talking to him at that Preparing the People in February when I went to Boise, and then after. And in February, he talked a lot about, like, again, he described his visions of what he saw for the area. But then, like, at the hotel room, he came in with all of us girls, because all of us girls shared a room. And it was Melanie Gibb, Zulema, myself, and Audrey, and I don't know her last name.
Okay.
Lori was not there. But he would come in and just, like, he gave us a priesthood blessing at that time, and each of us, and then he talked to us. He just basically answered questions like that we had. And again, I'm a question person. Zulema had most of the questions though at that time.
So did the conversation with him ever get personal with you? Did he inquire about, were you married at the time?
Oh, he knew I was married.
Okay. Did it ever get to the
But he
point?
never like asked about my husband or anything.
Did he ever say you guys were married or related in a previous life?
Related.
How were you related?
When he was Methuselah, I was his great granddaughter.
Oh my God.
So there's Methuselah, and then his daughter was Lori, and then I was Lori's daughter.
I can't with this stuff, you guys. Why can't people just be like Methuselah's dog? No one's ever some random nobody in some random place, right?
You know, if you had asked me that a year and a half ago, I would say yes, but it seems like the more we dive into this, the crazy goes out the window because there's just so much.
When you look too long into the crazy looks back into you, detective.
Of lies and deceit and indoctrination and
Yep.
Did Chad ever talk about his wife Tammy?
yes.
What did he say about her?
I'm trying to remember if I heard it firsthand or secondhand, so just so you know. But from my understanding, she was going, don't be surprised. This is what I remember, is don't be surprised if you hear about her being in a car accident and dying soon, because I need to complete basically it was I need to complete my mission, and I can't do that with her. He said the same thing about my husband too, by the way, when I saw him in Rexburg.
That your husband was going to die? How?
Because he didn't say how. He's like, because you need to complete your mission
When did he tell you that?
in Rexburg.
And
Well,
Chad said that personally to you?
When did you hear about that to Tammy? About Tammy?
Again, I'm trying to remember if he said that to me personally or in it. I mean, it was the only time I was ever alone with him was in Rexburg, and it was on campus. But
Oh yeah, she's gonna be a state's witness for motive and premeditation.
otherwise, we were always in like the 2 times I saw him, it was a group setting.
And that would have been down here or in Boise?
No, I'm pretty sure it was Boise.
Okay. So you think he said that in Boise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he tell you how your husband was going to die? He didn't tell you that. So when he said that to you, what did you think?
It made me sick to my stomach. I went home and cried.
So you believed him at that time that your husband was going to
Thought
die?
it might happen. Yeah.
They give her a lot of silence here, and I gotta tell you, oh hell no, oh hell no, oh hell no. You don't say that about my husband.
Yep. I was deceived. I believed him. Yeah. I made a lot of mistakes through that, and part of that was just believing them.
Do you know what though? Don't feel bad because they deceived a lot of people. They're super good at
Yeah.
deceiving people and manipulating people by their thoughts and their beliefs, and
Yeah.
you know there's always just a little bit of truth in there, and they just kind of twist it to what
Yeah.
they want it to be for them.
And they make you feel like you're special and we need you and you're needed and you're chosen, and for me, like, I was in a lonely place up in Connecticut, and to feel like anybody cared about me, or maybe there was a reason, something for me to do. Not that I'm special, I don't think I'm better than anybody else, but like that I was part of something good. Like that's really what got me, is being part of something good that I thought God wanted me to. I was definitely deceived, 100%. And it's been hard. it's been hard. It's been hard to watch like their fall too, because I mean, originally I thought they were good, and Chad seemed like a humble, quiet guy, like not at all what you expect for like a mass murderer, for crying out loud, or somebody like Lori. It's just unimaginable to me. Like her children, I can't even fathom it. It's horrifying.
So have you followed it through the media?
I don't follow it closely at all. People will send me something every once in a while or tell me something, and that's good enough for me. It's hard, it's upsetting, and so disturbing. Yeah.
Do you keep in contact with Melanie Gibbers and Lee Meadow?
Zulema, yes. We just reconnected. So I moved here, and I saw them not twice. And I saw Zulema once or twice in the temple. I just accidentally ran into her. Oh, no, once we met in the temple, and then once I ran into her. And then Melanie Gibb reached out January 2020, and she said, I'd like to meet with you. I have some things to share. And she wanted to apologize. And she's like, I'm so sorry for the way I treated you. And this is what happened, and this is kind of my story. And she shared everything she knew. Because she told me a lot of stuff that I was first not just abhorred at, but flabbergasted. I had no idea, like, some of the things that they were saying about me and about other people and that's way before, and that doesn't even include the crimes and the murders that they've done. But her intent was to apologize to me and to just kind of share, I think, maybe purge part of the things that she had been holding in. And then after that, Zulema reached out this past August or September because she wanted to apologize too for the way that she treated me. And I think she's been through hell too, like, and she wanted to just kind of talk to somebody who sort of understood and talk about what had happened.
I'm sure the state would prefer that these witnesses not be talking together on the side. You know what I'm saying?
Serena, is there anything that we haven't asked that you want to share?
Those were pretty thorough.
Well, you have our cards too.
Okay.
And you have my number.
Okay.
If anything pops up or you have any questions or just something, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Okay.
Or text.
Okay. And you guys, like, are you both on the same case or separate cases? Like.
So I am doing the kids case.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
And he's doing Chad's wife's case.
Okay.
I like this part here where she thanks the detectives for doing their job. I mean, I think that was thoughtful of her to say.
Thank you for the work you're doing. Truth needs to come out. There needs to be accountability.
Agreed. And I think there's a whole lot of other people who aren't coming forward that were probably deceived too.
Oh yeah.
And are just not coming forward because they're embarrassed.
Yep.
Or they want nothing to do with it when they close that chapter in their life. But they may have some things that we need to hear too that could help us.
Yeah. Because that's how I feel. It's embarrassing. I feel shamed for it and horrified and don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
So if there's anybody else that you talk to that you may try to convince to talk to us, that would be helpful too.
Okay.
This is a good job of the detectives making the witness feel very comfortable, safe, not feel intimidated, and to encourage others to come forward and to speak their truth.
Well, I'm glad you got kicked out.
Me too. Thank you. Me too.
So,
Well, no, we appreciate you coming in. We're just doing follow up on
Good.
a couple other people and.
Good. Can I ask where the case is, what the standing is? That okay to ask? Like,
Right now, we're hoping.
Because they're in jail, I do know that, and there's
Yeah.
a big bond, $1 million or whatever it is, and that's all I kind of know. Like.
Yeah, so right now we're hoping to get stuff going within the next 3 to 6 months. We're just trying to nail stuff down.
Okay.
It's a long process. We want to make sure we have all of our stuff right. We're not missing anything.
Okay.
Because we get one shot to do this right. And so right now they're in jail
No
on
pressure.
concealment charges. I know, right?
Yeah.
So
They're in jail for what charges?
the concealment of the kids,
Okay.
the bodies on the property. So they're in jail for that right now. So we're taking our time, making sure we get everything that we need to.
So they haven't been charged with the murders yet, or?
Not yet, no.
Wow, okay.
But we have all the time in the world because
That's
we're
why we're
going
just-
nowhere.
Right,
Trying to get all of our stuff
yeah,
straight.
and be thorough about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they can't declare a mistrial for any reason. Good, good. Well, I'm glad you guys had this time to figure it out.
So,
We appreciate your
Yep.
help.
Yeah,
I'm going to close this out here. In my opinion, she's been straightforward. She's answered their questions without them pulling teeth out of a reluctant child's mouth. You know what I'm saying? She is got good body language, you know, something she doesn't exactly recall, but, you know, it's honestly embarrassing. I think she's embarrassed about her relationship with these two defendants. If you like this video, please hit that like button and hit the subscribe bell, and you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. And without further ado, have an excellent day.